Infost 410, Assessment 4.2, Client Server Systems and Web-Based Database Questions, presented by Dave Schaefer on June 23rd, 2022. Disadvantages of a client-server security design. When not configured properly, client-server systems can expose plain text data to hackers that have access to the company's network system. Administrators can protect against this threat by enabling server-side encryption. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured, encrypts the data being sent from the server to the client. The data is then decrypted on the client computer. We can see here in this design, we have a client on the left, the server is on the right, and the communication link is in the middle. Inserted into the communication link is a hacker who has a device that can read the network traffic that's coming across. An example of HTTP traffic, which is unencrypted, the hacker can see in plain text when the username, John Doe, and their password, this is my password, is entered and transmitted across the network to the server. In an encrypted HTTPS session, the traffic is encrypted. The username would come across as garbled numbers and letters and symbols, and the password as well would come across. The hacker would be unable to read the network traffic for encrypted data. Single point of failure in a client server design. A single server hosted in a data center or a network room. The single server outage can affect all clients connecting to the application. Network congestion caused by multiple clients connecting to a single server can also affect the application performance. We can see in the animation, the red box around the server indicates that there's been an issue with this server. The communication link then goes down and the client is left without their application access. Multiple clients may be added to the network and accessing the application at the same time. We can see in the middle the network congestion occurs. We have this network has gone red in status, and so the performance of the application down to the clients can be affected. What situations would you want to ensure a backup system is in place? Business critical applications and data. Clients need always on access to applications and data. Backup servers with the application can be introduced into production in the event of a primary server failure. Companies also need to protect against data corruption and accidental deletion. Ransomware attacks have become a common threat for organizations. Ransomware attacks encrypt the organization's data, and the hackers ask for payment from the organization in return for decrypting the data. With a backup system in place, companies would be able to restore their data without paying the fees. What is scalability? It's the ability to increase the server capacity to allow for more users to access the server-side application. Two types of server-side scaling, vertical and horizontal. Vertical scaling involves adding additional processors and or memory to the server, whereas horizontal scaling involves adding more servers to the application pool. We can see here with vertical scaling, we have a single server, and we can add memory and processors to the server in a vertical scaling model. And then again, in a horizontal scaling, we see that our application server pool has increased from 1 to 4. Backend processors are used to provide functions to front-end web servers. They can include systems such as database servers and file servers. A common design is a web application and database structure, where we have the web server on the left and then the backend processors on the right. A front-end processor, by contrast, are servers that the clients interact with. They provide the user interface to the client and manage the application and data requests that are sent to the application and database servers. We have the front-end processors on the left communicating with the clients and the back-end processors on the right. Cloud-based file sharing services. Google Docs, Dropbox.com, Box.com, Amazon S3, and Microsoft OneDrive are all examples of companies that have created cloud-based document and file sharing capabilities. These services allow customers to share their data with friends, family, and business associates in a secure way. They also provide convenient and secure method for customers to store their data in a central location that is then accessible from multiple computer systems. Customers can choose which files and folders they want to share and provide a link to those documents or invite via email. Client-side scripting languages, JavaScript, jQuery, cascading style sheets, and even hypertext markup language are client-side scripting languages that allow programmers to write code that is then processed by the client's web browser. Programmers can use the client-side scripting to offload application functions from the server, which reduces the capacity required on the server side. An example of using JavaScript to enlarge a thumbnail image on the client's browser. When a user clicks on a thumbnail that has JavaScript code assigned to it, that thumbnail will enlarge and instruct the browser of the client to open up a larger image of the thumbnail. Development frameworks and server-side scripting extensions. .NET and Ruby on Rails provide developers with the framework to write their code in a structured way. Python is a programming language that is more commonly used in back-end processing such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and infrastructure as a service. PHP is a scripting language that is commonly used by programmers in dynamic websites and web application development. .NET was introduced by Microsoft as a framework to build web applications on Microsoft platforms, whereas Ruby is a framework that can be deployed on non-Microsoft systems such as Linux. Microsoft has provided the ability for programmers to deploy .NET on Linux platforms. However, this is not common. That is the end of the slideshow for today. Thank you very much.